Hey everybody, welcome to Valentine TV. I just happened to wake up and when my mom got sick, I'm up. Seeing this standoff in LA. So I think it happened at noon. I mean not noon, but midnight, I'm sorry. And I just wanted to bring it to you. So I'm just gonna play it, okay? I don't know. They'll start talking in a minute and let us know what's going on with it, okay? But that buzzing is really irritating to me. Um, oh, did they hear what I said? I know they ain't give me the wrong time because I'm on the East Coast, so it's 3:40 here. So I went back 3 hours, right? Wait, hold up. Let's see what's going on. Wait, here we go. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Oh, he went back.
Definitely hard to see with your eyes, though. It's definitely hard to see with your eyes.
Let's see what they protesting about. Oh, let me take the chat up there and see. I mean, um,
Let's push toward the scene west a little bit.
let me go down. Okay, let me just go right there. I don't know what's going on or what prompted it or anything. If y'all know, please put it in the chat.
Are we streaming?
I know they were
Yeah,
throwing
matter of time.
bottles, rocks. They threw some at a
We got
news
the shot,
van.
though, George. Yeah, dude, when they rolled that door up and 100 officers came swarming out. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, this is Brian Andrews at News Chopper 4. Welcome to our online streaming. So right now we are over the Federal Detention Center in the north side of downtown Los Angeles. So that the top right side of your screen, that is a Federal Detention Center. And about 15 minutes ago, what we saw, this crowd on the left side of the screen, let me zoom in here, this crowd was about twice as big. They were all gathered right out in front of this building. None of these officers were out here. That crowd was here in the front of the building. They were throwing things. You can see a lot of graffiti they put on that building. And about 15 to 20 minutes ago, those steel doors rolled up, and these officers came out en masse. About 100 officers, if not more. All those officers there, you can see, they all came pouring out of those doors. They launched flashbangs, pepper balls, smoke, gas. They let everything loose on that unruly crowd that had gathered in front of the Federal Detention Center, and they sent them absolutely sprawling. Most of them left. This is what remains. You can see they're still tagging buildings here in downtown, but they've really dispersed down the street quite a bit all the way here. So there was about twice as many people, but when those doors ran up and those officers came pouring out, they all fled. So right now, okay, you can see here, they are pushing that skirmish line forward, and these are federal detention officers. These are not LAPD. These are not sheriff. These are federal officers. You can see they're throwing gas, throwing smoke. Those little puffs on the ground. Those are probably pepper balls. There goes some smoke. They're pushing that crowd back. That was a firework thrown by the crowd. You can see there's people on the upper levels of what looks like a parking structure. There's people running around in there above the officers as they push down. And these officers that came pouring out, they are in full armor. They have gas masks, they have helmets, they have masks, they have full body armor. They are really, George, let's push west. They are really ready to take care of anything that can happen here. They are deploying smoke. You can see that smoke doesn't affect them. They have masks covering their whole face, allowing them to breathe easily through this irritant that they have deployed. This gas, it irritates your eyes, nose, throat, makes it hard to breathe, makes you just want to get out of the area. So they are still pushing forward here. They're pushing south along this street here, pushing that crowd back from the entrance of their building. They seemed incredibly prepared for this. They seemed incredibly ready for this. They seem incredibly organized. And as you can tell, what they're doing is working well. There's only a handful of people left here. Generally in these kind of situations, in my experience, you have a large crowd of onlookers and you have a small number of people that are trying to cause unrest, being unruly, and doing things they shouldn't be doing. That seems to be the case here. Only a very small number of people are still here at the front of their crowd as those officers march down the street in a skirmish line, ready to go. You can see all that graffiti on those buildings, trying to avoid it. There's some expletives there. As you can see, those officers in their gas, those yellowish green weapons they have, those are less lethal. That's gas, that's pepper balls, that is smoke. Those are things designed to make you uncomfortable and get you out of the area. They continue to push down the street to increase their security footprint and push these people out of the area.
This is crazy work. Oh my God, I wonder what was they doing?
If you're just joining us, this is Brian Andrews in News Chopper 4 over downtown, where we have federal officers from the Federal Detention Center who have formed a skirmish line and pushed a crowd of unruly onlookers away from the entrance of their building. About 20 minutes ago, we saw a large group of unruly people gathering outside that Federal Detention Center. They were throwing things at the building, graffitiing on the front of the building, and the federal officers had had enough and decided that they were going to push that crowd back. They felt like their safety was being jeopardized, and so they opened the doors and out-flooded at least 100, if not 150 officers, who quickly and in a very organized fashion formed a skirmish line and pushed a large group of about 100 unruly citizens back from the front of their building. And they've continued to push that unruly crowd back. As you can see, people are throwing things at those officers. Looks like they threw a smoke canister back at the officers here. But again, these officers are outfitted head to toe for this kind of thing. Face masks, gas masks, shields, body armor, batons, helmets, you name it, they have it. They are launching pepper balls, smoke, flashbangs, all less lethal to get these people to leave the area. Seems to be working very well. They've pushed this crowd several hundred feet down the street and have mostly, whoa, that was a firework somebody threw right into the officers from around that corner.
Wow.
Looks like they're throwing some smoke, maybe some flashbangs that way. Very dangerous situation for everyone involved. For the people that are the onlookers here, dangerous for them with smoke and tear gas and flashbangs, and then very dangerous for the officers with fireworks being thrown into the midst Just a bit of a gnarly situation down here outside the Federal Detention Center on the northeast side of downtown Los Angeles.
Sorry about the noise.
George, let's move south with the skirmish line. Let's see if we can get in front of them.
That's the video.
These officers look very organized, moving to fill gaps, push people out of the way. As you can see, those puffs of white are generally pepper balls. Those are basically paintballs filled with an irritant powder designed to irritate your eyes, nose, and throat, make it difficult to breathe, make you very uncomfortable and want to leave the area. We've also seen flashbangs deployed by the officers. We've seen smoke and gas deployed by the officers to get these people to move out.
I wonder who the protesters are. What are they protesting? What's going on?
So as you can see, we're at Alameda and Temple right now. The officers started several hundred feet up the block on Alameda at the Federal Detention Center and pushed that skirmish line south along Alameda. You can see this other skirmish line is now protecting the front of the building. All these federal detention officers are here in another skirmish line. This is originally where that crowd gathered. George, let's move south if we can. Those federal officers pushed that crowd out. They came pouring out the doors of that building and has so far pushed that crowd all the way down Alameda here to Temple and seem to have stopped here at Temple and are holding the line here at Temple and Alameda. George, let's try and look back at the officers, so let's go way farther south. Right now it looks like a lot of the crowd has dispersed. This seems to be the remaining people here on the sidewalk by Alameda and Temple. Right now those officers are holding that line at Alameda and Temple, preventing anyone or any vehicle from going north on Alameda to the front of that Federal Detention Center. Still a group of people right in front of those officers.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Had to move. All right, let's, yeah. Right there, George. And now let's move east. All right, so here's a better view of our skirmish line that these officers have set up.
Thank you for that noise going away. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, y'all.
All right, if you are just joining us here on NBC4, this is Brian Andrews reporting from News Chopper 4. We're over Temple and Alameda here in northeast downtown Los Angeles, where a skirmish line is formed of federal detention officers after an unruly group gathered in front of their building and began to throw things at the gates and graffiti on the front of their building. I believe that was an LAPD ship that just went through our shot, monitoring the situation. George, let's move east, please. And we saw 100 to 150 federal detention officers come pouring out of the building. They dispersed pepper balls, gas, smoke, and flashbangs, and pushed that crowd back several hundred feet south down Alameda to Temple, where we now see them
Somewhere.
go more east, George. All right, right there, stop.
Hey, I'm trying to move.
And let's go to the right. So right now you're seeing a good portion of those federal officers who made a skirmish line here. That's to the right, George.
Damn. Rifle? Let's see. Oh wow. Wow, wow.
All right, sorry about that. I had to do a little housekeeping up here. Um, so we are at Alameda and Temple, downtown Los Angeles, northeast side, where there's a pretty big presence of an unruly group that gathered outside of a federal detention center. We presume that that's where some of the detainees from the ICE raids were being held, but it's
Oh,
unclear. We right now we do not know exactly why
okay.
the group was gathered here, other than it is a federal detention center.
With some
All right, you're moving.
just in case somebody wants to see something.
Hey, sorry about that. We got a lot of news ships up here, so we're just trying to stay safe. I'm helping my pilot out, keeping eyes on the other ships, the media ships and law enforcement ships that are up here. We've got a handful of ships up here, and we all want to stay safe and make sure everybody else stays safe. So this is the north end of Alameda and the 101. This is the northern skirmish line. You see that flag? The building just to the left of that is that detention center, that federal detention center where the group was gathered originally and those officers came pouring out of. There's a skirmish line in front of that, as you can see, being held now. And there's another group of officers right there who have walked down. Looks like they're going to form another skirmish line in the center here between
Wow. Wow, wow.
the facility and the big, heavy skirmish line that has developed here at the south end of Alameda and Temple. So, a large group of unruly people gathered in front of that federal building. Were throwing things at it. Were graffitiing on the front of that building. The officers felt that they needed to push that group back, opened the doors, and deployed gas, smoke, flashbangs, pepper balls, and that group dispersed quickly south down Alameda, and the skirmish line that the federal officers formed pushed them all the way back down here to Temple and Alameda. As you can see, this appears to be where the skirmish line has stopped. They've decided they don't need to push any farther than here. A lot of onlookers have gathered very close to that skirmish line. That's a little bit unusual to have the public so close to a skirmish line like that. Generally, they like them to keep their distance a little bit more. Even earlier today, down in Paramount, Compton area, where we saw clashes happening between unruly groups and highway patrol and sheriff's deputies, they were much farther apart than this group right here. It doesn't look like no one's really interacting with the officers. They're at least keeping some distance between them. We haven't seen any arrests yet. We haven't seen anyone being detained. We've mostly just seen those officers pushing with their skirmish line, and a handful of agitators throwing things at officers earlier. But right now things seem to have calmed down. We see some Mexican flags being held and flown. And right now we're just kind of keeping an eye on this situation. George, push towards. Yeah.
Let's see.
If these officers determine that this group is getting a little too unruly, if they're getting too close and too big, they may push them back again. Joining us on NBC4 streaming, this is Brian Andrews in News Chopper 4. We've been up over several events here today. Throughout the day, we were down in Paramount Compton earlier, where there were skirmish lines and unruly groups ended up setting a car on fire, set blockades across streets. Right now, we are at Alameda and Temple, northeast downtown, where a skirmish line has formed outside of a federal detention center. A group of unruly people had gathered outside of that building and began throwing things and graffitiing that building. The officers felt that needed to be stopped, came flooding out of the building and pushed those people back. The officers deployed gas and pepper balls and smoke and flashbangs. That group all moved back to here, where we currently are at Temple and Alameda. Originally, as I zoom out and pan until up here, you can see this skirmish line up here, and there's a large number of officers marching south on Alameda right now. Looks like they may be coming to reinforce that line down south. So this is where everything originated, right here. This building right here is where that group formed initially. Probably 100 people were here. Eventually those gates went up and those officers poured out of that building. So now you can see these officers forming another skirmish line, marching south on Alameda, presumably to reinforce the skirmish line that we have down here at Alameda and Temple. Right now, this group seems pretty calm. We did see them throwing fireworks right into the midst of those officers. Earlier we saw a firework explode right in the middle of them. All right, my pilot just told me that he's seeing something, so I'm going to zoom out here. Oh yeah, we've got a procession of police vehicles here. No doubt heading somewhere to reinforce officers that are in need of something. Not sure if that's connected to what we're looking at here, or if that is something else. But it is a busy night around Los Angeles right now.
I see.
We know that there's still activity down in the Paramount Compton area where there has been most of the day and yesterday. This is all because of the ICE and federal raids that happened across Los Angeles yesterday. There were protests and unruly groups around the city yesterday, excuse me. Yeah, we're gonna zoom out. We're gonna check out those police vehicles that are moving. We do know that a deputy was shot in the Palmdale, Lancaster area. These officers may be going out. Last I heard, that officer, oh, they are going into downtown. So these officers could be going to join the officers that we see here. We don't really know. They are going into downtown though, so. Yep, they're going right into downtown. That looks like that's CHP heading into downtown. Yeah, we'll let you guys know more if we figure out where they're going and what they're doing. Right there we have an LAPD helicopter that's circling the situation that we have going here on Temple and Alameda.
So
He's
a lot of
keeping an eye
activity going
on
on
everything from the air and no doubt providing information to those units on the ground.
A lot going on in LA tonight.
Yeah, let's go. So we're going to go follow those police cars and see where they're going. Yeah, we got to go around traffic.
Yeah.
Can you fix that?
Wow, that's big. I'm from North Carolina, so you know that's big to me.
All right, if you're following us streaming, we're going to go investigate where that line of officers went, where they seem to be going. So go south. Get it? No, I can't reach it. Go for chopper. 40 minutes, 40 minutes fuel.
Yeah, I haven't there. Let's see. Yeah, I've been there. Not in LA, no.
All right, if you're still streaming with us, we found that line of officers. That's the 10 freeway that they're going under. You can see their lights flashing, they're driving eastbound. Looks like they may be heading to the CHP station. Yeah, it looks like they're entering here. And yeah, so these are CHP units. And they have come to the CHP station here on the southwest side of downtown. They've probably been called in and they're going to be dispatched to areas they feel like they need a little bit of extra help around the city. Like we said, Paramount has been active all day, and now this spot here in downtown at Temple and Alameda has been active for quite some time now. Go for Brian.
Oh, you're in Philly. I mean, Pennsylvania. I know.
George. It's currently 9:20. It's 9:20.
I know he ain't come out 9:20 p.m.
To get to Whiteman, fuel up, and then get back out here. All right, so about 30 minutes, Jack. Jack, did you hear that? About 30 minutes, 30 minutes. If we left right now, go to Whiteman, fuel up, and get back here, probably about 30 minutes. We've got about 40 minutes on station, 40 minutes on station. 40 minutes on station.
Wow.
Let's go back behind us to the CHP station. You want to go back to the jail? Copy that. Headed back to the jail. Okay, CHP. We're leaving there. If you're still streaming with us, we are headed back to that federal detention center on the northeast side of LA. You can fly with us as we transit the south side of downtown LA on this slightly overcast night and head back to that skirmish line that we had been over for about 45 minutes. There's a lot happening up here. Sometimes we need to go look at something to see what's really going on. So that's why we kind of fly around downtown a little bit, figure things out. And we want to bring you guys the best news, most accurate, up-to-date news that we can. So sometimes that means that we're running around a little bit, making sure that what we're looking at is the most relevant information for you. So we're headed back to the hotspot by the Federal Detention Center at Alameda and Temple. We'll be there momentarily. You can see, I believe that's that LAPD ship that we saw earlier. circling, keeping an eye on things from above. He has his light. He's got thermal cameras generally. This ship may not, but a lot of them have thermal cameras. They can keep an eye on things very closely and provide valuable information to the officers on the ground. All right, so here we are. Here's the north side. I'm sorry, this is the south side. They've in just those few minutes that we moved, they moved a whole bunch of assets down here. This previously was one skirmish line. When we left, they were marching a second skirmish line down here. They've arrived. They've pulled a bunch of vehicles down here. As you can see, those look like, I think those are sheriffs. There might be some LAPD in there as well. Sheriff and LAPD units here on Alameda. This is Alameda and Temple, where that skirmish line has stopped. So as we talked about before, this skirmish line started up north at the Federal Detention Building here. It's hidden behind these trees, but you can see that skirmish line there in front of the building. There was a group outside that building that got unruly. They started throwing things. They were graffitiing the front of that building. The doors opened and federal officers came pouring out of that building. They deployed smoke, gas, flashbangs, pepper balls, everything to make that crowd go away, and they did. That group mostly went south down Alameda toward Temple here. You can see that there's a lot of onlookers here on the corner, at the bottom of your screen, on the right side of your screen. There's onlookers there, and there's a large contingent here in the middle of that intersection. George, can we move towards that group a little bit? Yeah. So those are federal detention officers who have formed that skirmish line and are holding that line there at Alameda and Temple. They've been here for maybe 10 or 15 minutes now, holding this location, keeping people back. Since they stopped here, things have calmed down a little bit. We saw the crowd throwing things at the officers earlier. We saw them throwing smoke canisters back that had been deployed to the group, to the crowd, by the officers. That crowd was throwing them back. They were throwing, it looked like bottles earlier. We saw a firework get launched right into the midst of the officers and go off right in between a bunch of officers. Hopefully nobody was injured there. Hopefully things have calmed down for right now. We haven't seen any gas, smoke, or flashbangs or pepper balls just deployed since the officers landed here at Temple and Alameda. We can get closer if you can, George. So things seem to have calmed down a little bit. There is a decent-sized group in front of that skirmish line. These officers, though, they are geared up head to toe. They have shields, they have armor, they have masks, they have full-face gas masks. So anything that they deploy against this crowd is not going to hurt them. All right, that's good, George. Let's hang out right in here. It's not going to affect the officers the same way it's going to affect the crowd, because those officers have gas masks covering their full face, keeping their eyes and nose and mouth covered, not being affected. It was those things that were deployed, the smoke, the gas, the pepper balls, were all very effective against the crowd. They all scattered very quickly. All right, we're seeing a little bit of movement now. That looked like they may be ordering the crowd to leave. Lots of signs. I saw a Mexican flag earlier. I don't see a Mexican flag anymore. But yeah, that group is, and kind of like I mentioned earlier, this group is fairly close. In Paramount, the unruly group was nowhere near this close to the officers. They would not let them get this close at all. So this is a little bit different in that group is very close to the officers. The rest of the day down in Paramount Compton, we saw at least 20 or 30 feet, usually an entire intersection between the unruly groups and the officers here. I mean, that looks like it's maybe 10 feet, but those officers seem confident that they have the situation under control right now. And they're holding that line, and thankfully things seem to be cooling down. No one's throwing anything. No less lethal is being deployed. No smoke, no pepper balls, nothing like that.
Okay, I think
It's
that's
just
all
one
they're
group
gonna
standing
do
against
tonight,
another.
y'all. Y'all think?
The last thing that
They,
we want to see is anybody getting hurt, officers
right.
or people protesting or rallying for their cause.
I'm about to call it a night with this one. Oh, thank you for joining me and helping me out. I can't say the name. J J Fit Facts.
And there may be a contingent of LAPD
Pennsylvania.
mixed in here. We're not 100% sure.